GOAT, and I'm so mad he's not in 2K.
Boris Diaw. You had Tony Parker started.
Danny Green was coming off the bench too for a time.
There's been several players where like you got to solidify that 6th, 7th, 8th men.
So important.
They play pivotal roles,
especially when your players go down and they have to miss 2-3 games.
Right.
You got that person that can step right in, and it's like your team never missed a beat.
Don't skip a beat.
See, I feel like Brooklyn is really, really capable of that because all this off time that Durant and Kyrie have had has given that team a chance to really grow and believe in themselves and trust in their own will. And like, it really let Karis LeVert be like, oh, I could actually be like a threat out here.
Right.
So, man, listen.
That Brooklyn team could be scary, man. That team, starting next season, I think you're going to hear a lot more hype about them, especially when you start to see KD on the floor and practice and seeing how he's looking and got his form back and everything of that nature there. And all the hype is going to be there. And
I've been forced to pay attention to that team because one of my closest, like, basketball buddies, like, shout out to my boy Riddick, he made the intro for Push Start. That's his team, Brooklyn.
Okay.
His team been Brooklyn since I known him. Like, he's never wavered. So, like, he always, like, talk about his squad. So, like, it forces me to, like, know what his players do and stuff because we play against each other. Right. So, I'm like, I got to know about Brooklyn. Yeah. So, like.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Yeah.
That's why I pay attention to them boys because they play good basketball.
Yeah, and they're in our division. I'm a Sixers fan, so they're in my division, and I pay attention to all the people that's in our division.
Got to.
And that's one of the teams where it's like fuck next year, especially the way my Philly boys is looking right now. Like we're fucked.
Do you think you guys are going to split up next season? Do you think they're going to try and split them up?
I think.
Matter of fact, let me run that back a little bit.
Okay.
Do you think first it's a good idea to split them up, and do you think they will or not?
All right, so people making the argument that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons don't work together. And, okay, their games doesn't complement one another because they do a lot of the same shit. They both want to operate in the paint. You know what I'm saying? That's when they're at their best, when they can operate in the paint with the ball in their hands.
Truth.
But I don't think that you take two generational type talents and split them apart. What you do is you build around that team. When they initially started playing basketball, this was 2 years ago, we had a team that was comprised of Ben Simmons, JJ Redick, Robert Covington, Dario Saric, and Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Cov, my man. So that was the starting five. So you had two paint players, and then you had surrounded them with three shooters.
Yep.
All right, and we went on to win 53 games that year. We took out Miami in 5 games, and then we lost to Boston in 5 games the next round. And then instead of building more on that type of that mold right there, because it worked.
It worked really well.
To end that season, we won 17 straight games. You know what I'm saying? Like we found our gel.
And that was when they were younger. And
right.
Like they didn't really fully understand their game yet.
Exactly. They're still learning. They're still getting better. All right. So instead of building upon that, and then we had like the whole GM sequence and like fire our GM, the whole Philly conundrum. To be a Philly fan is so fucking weird and stressful. Yeah, it's a lot of like you got a fucking GM making burner accounts to talk shit about his players and shit. Like that is so terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But we fire our GM. We hire a rookie GM, Elton Brand, who has to keep the staff of the fired GM, so he can't put together his own staff. And then we have all these assets that our savior Sam Hinkie accumulated as his tenure at GM. And then we do the Jimmy Butler trade because we didn't have that player that can, in the fourth quarter, that can give the ball to and go get a bucket. All right. Okay. I understand that trade. But then we trade in all of our assets for Tobias Harris.
I did not like that.
Oh my God. And at the time,
I didn't like that for y'all.
At the time, it's like, okay, I get it. We think we can win the championship this year. Right. So you go all in. Warriors are compromised. We got to worry about the Bucks and the Raptors pretty much as the two teams in the Eastern Conference, and Boston at that point too.
Yep.
All right, I get it. You make that move. We're a bounce shot away, the greatest shot fucking I ever seen in oh my God, the Kawhi shot. And then that offseason, we fucking
shot is goated.
Fumbled the ball, bro. We just fumbled it. Like you max out Tobias Harris that nobody was going to max out. Nobody was going to max him out. You give $180 million to Tobias Harris. And I like Tobias Harris. He's a solid player.
He ain't worth that, though.
He's not a $180 million player. So you cap strung there. But then on top of that, you go and you give $100 million to your backup center in Al Horford, who plays the same position as Joel Embiid, and you think that they can play together because Al Horford was a 35% shooter from three when he's in Boston. But he didn't shoot a lot of them, so,
that's why.
Has a factor with it. Right.
Yeah.
And then, you double down on the size aspect. Like, okay, we're going to go big. We're going to be imposing. We're going to play defense, but we can't shoot. Like, we have no shooting whatsoever. Ben Simmons refuses to shoot still. Mm-hmm. Joel Embiid, he can shoot, but he's not. You don't want him shooting threes all the time.
Yeah, you want him in the paint. You want him that's where his presence is most felt.
Josh Richardson, he can shoot, but he's not a knockdown JJ Redick.
You need somebody that's I'm gonna get threes from him.
And my thing is, like, okay, you built up this, basically we playing 90s basketball at this point. We got fucking 4 power forwards on the floor.
Yeah.
You got Ben Simmons, who they like stop with the point guard. He's not a point guard, okay? He's excellent. He can do shit with the ball in his hands. He's excellent transition.
He's a power forward with playmaking skills.
Exactly. He's Scottie Pippen. He's Lamar Odom.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
But you got to go get yourself a guard that can go and be able to handle the rock and create a shot.
Point guard.
Exactly. So he's doing this Ben Simmons experiment where he's playing point guard and he still refuses to shoot. So now that just clogs the lane even more. And like,
I feel like y'all should have kept Markelle Fultz.
And that's another thing.
He's hooping in Orlando.
That's another thing that fucked us too, though. The Markelle Fultz situation.
What was up with him? Why was he not playing?
Bro, we draft him, and I loved him in college. Like, I remember watching highlights. He was excellent. He was the player that we needed to complete the process. Like, he was the key piece right there where it's like, we get him, and now we're good.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of Markelle Fultz was it. But then he comes in, he's summer league, he plays well, he hurts his ankle, he's out, he comes back for training camp, and then he can't shoot.
Yeah, what was that?
It was his shoulder.
That was weird.
He was diagnosed with, I think it's called thoracic shoulder syndrome or something like that, where it's like a nerve in your shoulder that, like, it just randomly goes off and it, like, kind of hinges your shot. So in his shooting shoulder, he had that. You remember the player Landry Fields?
Yep.
He had the same issue.
I love Landry Fields. He was back on that Linsanity. New York Knicks team.
He had the same issue though.
Damn.
Same thing happened to him. He's out the league when next couple of years when he was diagnosed with it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
because he had a nice little stretch.
Exactly.
Damn.
He was solid.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Landry was solid. But yeah, man, it's like a lot of, like, every weird thing that can happen to my Sixers team just happens. And it's just one of those things, like, you would think, like, as an NBA mind, and you see where the game is at, shooting is a fucking premium. So you would think that you would go right exactly. Like, I was watching the Miami and Indiana game yesterday at work, and you just see, like, dude Duncan Robinson out there just pulling. I see Crowder out there pulling. I see Tyler Hero coming into the game pulling, and it's like, yo, this opens up so much.
Same thing with the
space.
Clippers.
Exactly.
That's why the Clippers do so good.
Same thing with the Clippers.
Wetting it up.
Same thing. Like, you look at all the elite teams in the NBA, the one consistent thing that they have is is floor spacing and shooting. And you go and look at the Sixers, and that's the one thing that we don't have. Like, we can't space the floor. Nobody can shoot on our team besides Furkan Korkmaz and Shake Milton, who's basically a fucking rookie. We're starting at point guard. Yeah. And it's like, yo, how the fuck did you build this team? Like, the whole organization just be shamed, man. Like, it's a shame what they did with all the assets.
It's a rocky road. Yeah, y'all had
terrible.
Y'all was set up for greatness.
It was terrible, and they fumbled the bag.
Yeah, somebody fumbled the bag.
They fumbled the bag. Like, ownership, terrible. The GM's terrible. Like, and I'm praying that Boston ends us today. Like, just get it over with. Just sweep us. I want this to be, like, the most shameful shit that the Philadelphia Sixers organization could ever feel. I want everybody gone. I want everybody gone from the top. And then I want to start. If you're going to start over, just start with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and go from there. And just go from there, because you fucked it up already. All right,
you fucked up the bag.
You fucked it up already. Try to salvage it this way. Get a GM that actually knows basketball. Get a head coach that can fucking put together schemes that can best utilize their talent. And go from there. But, like, what the fuck, bro? It's been rough.
I feel your pain, because that was me last year as a Lakers fan, and I was getting very shifty when all the trade talk started coming up about Anthony Davis, and I'm like, yo, look, I don't want y'all to think that I don't like Anthony Davis. Yeah. I love Anthony Davis. He's a great player. But I don't want to give up all my young boys for Anthony Davis if we're not going to have nothing left over. Because, like, before that, they weren't talking about anybody else to fill the space that we're going to be losing for all these players. They were just basically talking about building around AD, LeBron, and Kuzma. And I was like, Kuzma? What?
Killer Kuz, man.
What are y'all talking about? Like, no, we don't need to build around him. Y'all should have kept Brandon Ingram and got rid of that nigga Kuzma.
Right.
That's what I wanted. But I don't know, bro.
Yeah, what the Lakers did with the AD trade, and you get the mindset. I get the thinking. Like, okay, you get a talent like AD, who's a top 5, maybe top 3 player in this league. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. So you go all in on that trade, but what is the return? Like, what's left over? So you give up, like you said, all your young assets. You give up
Josh Hart, Lonzo, Ingram,
right? Exactly. Picks, first round picks as well. And on top of that, a lot of people don't talk about it. AD is a free agent after this offseason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He didn't even agree to extend his contract.
Right. So now you're going all this on possibly a 1-year rental, which if I had to bet money, I think he resigns. Yeah. But if shit goes wrong in LA, like if something just dramatically changes,
you never know what can happen from night to night.
Exactly. You don't know what can happen. So now, like if that happens, you're stuck with LeBron James and then a bunch of just, role players. Yeah. Not even like, and it's not like excellent role players.
It wasn't even great ones. Yeah. See, like the thing that saves our team, because we're not a great 3-point shooting team. We're a decent 3-point shooting team, but we have that same ability to space the floor because we have LeBron.
Right.
He attacks the basket, draws the double team, and then that creates space for everyone else. Yes. Just period. So like it's the same concept, just with a different play style. And I think that's gonna run out if our boys don't start hitting more shots.
Yeah.
KCP turned it up last night. Shout out to him. He brought it back. But Danny Green, what the fuck, bro? Yeah. What the fuck, Danny Green? I was so happy when we signed you. And then you was hooping at the beginning of the regular season. Mm-hmm. And we got in this bubble. And he just got bubble sickness or something. I don't know what it is with him. Like, he must have... This is what happened. This is my conspiracy theory. He must have had dinner with TJ Warren. And TJ Warren took whatever rest of the juice he had from winning that championship with Kawhi and put it on himself. Yeah, he pulled the Monstars on Danny Green.
He had him touch the ball.
Yeah. So he was like, Danny Green, whatever rest of the power you got, I'm putting it on top of my power level, and I'm about to be great in the bubble.
Man.
That's my theory.
Yeah, Danny Green's always been one of those streaky ass players. He's the perfect complement to LeBron. Mm-hmm. When they signed him, when he went to the Lakers, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
He'd be so open.
Low maintenance player, can hit open shots, and then goes in the opposite end of the floor and can guard the best player on defense.
That's the thing that hurts my feelings, because you can't take him out even though he's missing, because he's valuable on D.
Right.
And he makes smart decisions.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's a smart player.
But
if that shot's not falling, his value definitely deteriorates.
And my team is being stupid. Why is Quinn Cook not playing?
I think Quinn Cook, the idea of Quinn Cook is better than the player of Quinn Cook.
But I feel like he's going to hit them shots better than some of these players they're given the opportunity to.
I hear you on that one. And we've seen it. We've seen Quinn Cook come into the finals last year and hit some shots for Golden State, but I also seen him miss a lot of shots as well.
That's true. That's valid.
I mean, shit, it doesn't hurt to try it. You got Caruso out there.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You got Granddad out there with the headband.
And I like Caruso. He's a high energy. He's a fun guy. He's fun.
But he's Caruso.
Yeah, exactly. I get the hype. He's a white dude who can jump. He got the balding. Yeah. He's fun to watch. Like
he's a fan favorite. He's a Boban.
He's TJ McConnell. What TJ used to be for my Sixers. TJ's less athletic. Mm-hmm. Scrappy player.
I love TJ McConnell.
Yeah, I love him too. I miss him. I miss TJ, man. I really do.
It's a couple players in the league that's like that.
Yeah, you need those players. You need those little scrappy ass players, man. It's going to get in somebody's face. It's going to guide you full court.
Die for the ball, going out of bounds.
Do all the hustle plays. I love that. Mm-hmm. But that is the best that they can do. They're limited as a player. Mm-hmm. That's why they only could get, 8 to 12 minutes in playoff scenarios. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So there's reasons why they're not out there. But, you're relying on him, like Deion Waiters, I think should be getting more burn. Mm-hmm. You signed J.R. Smith. What really fucked you guys, though, I think, is Avery Bradley. Coming. Yeah, that was huge.
He was my favorite pickup of the offseason. Yeah. Like, I love Avery Bradley. Like,
yeah.
I was an Avery Bradley fan back in Boston when he was hooping. Like, when he was hooping.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what made me acquire him on my team on 2K, because I was like, damn, Avery Bradley is really good.
Right.
And his jumper is very consistent.
Yeah.
Very consistent. And, like,
pound for pound,